Good evening and welcome to the hour dedicated to talking about all things strange, weird, and paranormal. You're listening to Strange Talk, broadcasting on 1660 AM in Northside, 91.7 FMHD2 WVXU in Cincinnati. We're also streaming at radioartifact.com around the entire planet Earth. The intro track to this episode, and most of our episodes, is the Strange Talk intro by Star Silk. I'm your host, Alyx, and Vayne, do I still got you?
Yes, I'm here.
Yay! Yay! No technical difficulties this time. Is it radio if there's not technical difficulties, though? But yeah. We're doing a little bit of open lines tonight, and we're talking all about, hometown urban legends, the things that people's different hometowns have that, the kids whisper about and the adults don't want you to talk about, but you do it anyway, and you double dare each other to go, look in the old creepy abandoned house and stuff like that. I just realized, I don't know if I've ever given people our number. Our call-in number, I always post it on our social media, but if you ever want to call in, our call-in number is 513-951-5332. That's 513-951-5332. If we are not currently recording, it will give you a voicemail, and you can leave a voicemail there and still share your stories there. You can record up to 5 minutes in length, so if you've got a longer story, you can either break it up, or you can just shoot us an email, and we'll get your story one way or another, so... But yeah, Vayne, I especially wanted you on with me for this because you and I both grew up in Loveland with the Loveland Frog.
Yes, we did.
Yes, and that's not even necessarily the creepiest part of Loveland. We used to go ghost hunting all the time as like teenagers and stuff like that. And we've seen some weird stuff together.
I think we've seen a lot of weird stuff, really.
Yeah, paranormal and not. Just a lot of weird. Do you remember this one time when we were hiking in the woods around dusk, and we both were suddenly like, we have to get out of here before nightfall. This feels wrong. And then we looked over and we saw 2 baby deer. And we were like, oh no, that means that the parent is around here somewhere. We were like, we gotta get out of these woods.
Yeah, no, we thought it was like a paranormal thing, but really it was just like, oh, there's a buck here somewhere.
Yeah, it was we might get demolished by a deer right now. We were like, the ghosts are gonna get us, and then we look over and there's a deer.
Yeah, very, very scary in comparison to a ghost. I don't want to get gored by a deer. Thank you.
I mean, a ghost with antlers is equally terrifying, honestly.
I mean, yeah, but for different reasons.
Yeah. Yeah, and that was in the woods in Loveland. I feel like we've just had all kinds of experiences all around Loveland. It wasn't even necessarily things that were like urban folklore or stories to us. It was just we just had all these weird experiences. And maybe it is part of like a bigger picture where like a bunch of people have had those same experiences in those locations. I have no idea. Did you ever go out to the Poles? Do you remember the Poles?
The Poles?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Maybe. What is it?
It was like right outside of town. There were these, it was next to what I was told was an old nunnery. So I guess an abbot. And if you went all the way back on this trail, it overlooked the river, and there were all these just telephone poles with no tops on them at varying heights sticking out of the ground. And right next to it was a tiny graveyard with tombstones for a bunch of different nuns, and then they had Hindu prayer flags hung up. It was very weird.
Oh. No, I did not go see that. That's really neat, though.
I feel like that was one of the like kind of like urban legends that we had in Cincy because in Loveland, because nobody could ever tell me like why they existed. And like I spent forever looking online trying to figure out what these were. And finally I found what it was. It's an outdoor sculpture. It was commissioned by the Grail, a Catholic laywomen's organization in Loveland, Ohio. And it is a sculpture by Robert Wilson, and it has 676 telephone poles. But this used to not be on his website, so I couldn't find anything about it. But yeah, I guess it was premiered in 1968. And you can kind of see, if you look this up, that it kind of like peaks up in height. Yeah, so you can kind of climb up it. You're not really supposed to. But if you go on his website, you'll see a bunch of naked people sitting on them and stuff because they took a bunch of pictures in the 60s, you know, like you do. But it's so funny because, you know, us as kids, we would go out there and we're like, this is so creepy. Who did this and why? And it's just a guy making art.
I mean, that's like half of like childhood fantasies, you know, where you're like, oh my goodness, what is this really scary thing? And it's just an adult expressing themselves and
with telephone poles.
Yeah, like.
I mean, it didn't help that, like, when we would go out to see these poles, like, it would be in, like, the middle of the night. Like, I remember going out there in the middle of the night in winter. So we're, like, crunching through the snow, going all the way back there to this. And we're like, why are all these just, like, poles sticking out of the ground? It's super weird. But it was cool to finally... Yeah. Yeah. But finally getting closure on that was super cool because you don't always get closure on some of those, like, weird urban legends.
Yeah, I mean, it's also cool just to be like, oh, look, there's actual cool art and the town that terrifies children when they have an active over imagination.
More artists should make art that terrifies children. That's the official stance of Strange Talk. Did you have any like urban legends like that you remember from Loveland, like growing up there?
I mean, I don't know if it's Loveland specific, but do you remember? I can't remember. Was it the Minor 49er or whatever, where they were joking and they were saying that on the bike trail there was a man with a lantern.
Oh.
That would haunt you. Yeah. So like, okay, it was like a whole thing.
Minor 49er, like from Scooby-Doo.
I don't know. I think I called it the Minor 49er, but that's not what it. I don't.
You
know
added to the lore.
What his name was supposed to be.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, he does carry a lantern around, so.
Yeah, and I think that's why I associate it with the Minor 49er, but the whole thing was like, if you went on the bike trail at night and you were alone, there was a chance that you'd see this man with a lantern, and if he caught you, he'd kill you.
That's really funny. I never heard that one. I think that's the interesting thing about local legends is like, even growing up there, we're going to hear different ones. But that's so funny.
Yeah, like I live next to the bike trail, so for me,
that's true.
You know, I think in that situation, it was kind of probably my father warning me, like in his own way.
Yeah.
But like all the adults nearby too were like, yeah, when I was growing up, there used to be a train that ran through here, and everyone knew that you didn't go on the train tracks at night, or else the man with the lantern would get you.
Yeah, what Vayne dubbed the Minor 49er, Vayne just added to the story. I love that.
I called him it in my head, but I was like, I don't know what his actual name was supposed to be. But it was this guy with a lantern, and I think my brain just assumed Minor 49er made sense. I don't know.
That's really funny.
But yeah, that's what all the adults, because it was a lore thing from my dad's generation.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and to be fair, the bike trail is built over old railroad tracks, so that part is true. Like, there's usually some drop of truth in any of these urban legends. So, I mean,
you can still see the old railroad actually in Camp Dennison. If you go over the pathway, there's parts where there's still old railroad.
Yeah. Yep. I remember that. Yeah, I do remember there being a lot of stories about Camp Dennison because that was supposed to be super haunted. And I remember the lake there. I think it was you who told me that there were like planes and stuff at the bottom of the lake.
Oh, yeah, the big old lake reservoir thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's another thing from my dad's generation where it used to be like a big old hole in the ground, essentially, where they were gathering different materials, and then they started using it as a dumping ground, and they filled it in and made it a lake, and then people would go in and swim in the lake, but the stuff was still in there.
Yeah, that's creepy. Were there divers there that, like, is that how they knew that there was this stuff at the bottom?
Yeah, they have divers that go down there. You have to get like a permit thing to do everything in that water, though.
Oh yeah, I'm sure you need your tetanus shots up to date.
I'm trying to think of what the name is for this place, but it's a weird one for sure. It's hold on. I'm trying here. Because it's supposed to be about Loveland, and we start talking about this instead.
Well, it's any city's, local legends. I just figured Loveland, we both grew up there, so I was like, I'm sure that we have a bunch that we've forgotten about.
Yeah, I think it's the Grand Valley Nature Preserve, because it used to not be a nature preserve at all. It used to be a... Oh, yeah, and see, there's even a little warning here. No, before you go, access is restricted. It's not open to the general public. You have to be a citizen to go there. You must be
a citizen.
like a citizen of the city thing. Town. An Indian Hill citizen,
yes,
specifically.
Not just
Camp Dennison is owned by Indians.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't know. Townsperson? Is that a better word? I don't know.
The citizen works. It's fine. It just sounded funny of like, you must be a citizen. Any citizen.
Yeah, like any citizen. No, it's very specific to Camp Dennison / Indian Hill people. And there was a whole shebang around it because Camp Dennison wanted to be its own thing, but they couldn't be. I don't know.
Indian Hill wouldn't let them.
That's Camp Dennison lore, not Loveland lore. So.
I mean, that's fine too. I mean, I'm trying to think. I feel like Loveland never had any of those of like. I feel like the classic stories are like hook on the car door handle, or like some kind of like Devil's Bend where like a car crash and now every so often when you drive through there you'll see high beams, or like we didn't have any stories about like a lady in white or someone haunting a bridge or anything like that.
No.
I do remember there was a story about the railroad tracks though. I have no idea who told me this or if there's any truth to it. But do you know where the railroad tracks go across Branch Hill Guinea Pike down in Old Loveland?
Yeah.
How it kind of goes up and then back down a little bit?
Yes,
So I was told this story. I have no idea if there's any truth to it. I never looked it up because I did not remember it until just this moment. I'm pretty sure this is probably just an urban legend in all kinds of towns. But supposedly the story I was told is that one time a bus got stuck on the tracks there and got hit and kids died. That should be easy to look up and verify. I just hadn't thought about it until just now. So we'll look that up. But the story I was told was then somebody's car got stuck on the tracks and it died and they got stuck, and where it goes up and down on the other side, like they couldn't get it to move. And so they were freaking out because a train was coming when suddenly their car just suddenly like kind of moved and went down the other side of the railroad tracks. And they said that when they got out of the car and looked on the back, they could see handprints, like children's handprints on the back of their trunk, like the kids had pushed the car.
Oh yeah, that's an old. That's like a really old urban legend.
And I just remembered like somebody in Loveland told me that story, and I was like, I don't. This is you took this from somewhere else, because there would be records of like a school bus, getting hit by a train.
I mean, so there actually was a wreck on the tracks, but it was like 4 months ago. So a bus full of children didn't die. So
and
I don't.
They went back in time to tell me this story when we were like teenagers. It's a time traveling ghost story.
I don't see anything specific here. It says in August of 13th, 2025, a school bus of 42 kids and one adult flipped over. But that was in Texas. So, like, it gave me a Texas result. So I don't actually... I don't...
Loveland, Texas, Ohio.
I think that's one of those national lore things. Like one of those little warning things.
Yeah, oh yeah. No, I'm sure that's what it was, but like I wish I remember who told me that story. I feel like most of like the stories like that we were told in Loveland all centered around the railroad tracks. I don't know if you remember when we did presentations, was it in creative writing class maybe? And I did one all about the Peters cartridge factory, because that was like one of the big urban legend things for us, even though it wasn't technically in Loveland, it was outside of it. But it is this old abandoned munitions factory that used to produce munitions during the Civil War. And kids would always go and investigate it, except we were really discouraged from investigating it. I was always told that they did SWAT practices in there. I have no idea if that's true. Never looked it up since I was a teenager. Kind of forgot about it. Except for there was one wing that was cut off from the rest of the building. And in there, and I do know this part was true, they used to do haunted houses there. And so one year they did their Halloween haunted house there and then just never cleaned it up. And then now the building's rotting with all these like Halloween decorations inside. So that was the only part that you could get into like without getting into trouble, supposedly. I definitely knew people that went like all through those buildings and never encountered SWAT or whatever. But we did this presentation in creative writing class, so I did all this research on it. And there was actually a train explosion right outside the cartridge factory because some of the munitions went off. So I feel like, yeah, most of our ghost stories center around the railroad tracks, which makes sense. It's ripe for, accidents to happen.
So also, because I was curious about the Peter Cartridge shenanigans to see if there was actually anything like SWAT based there, they repurposed it to be apartments.
Really? Yes, I do remember them saying they were going to.
Yeah, it's called the Peter Cartridge Factory Apartment.
Creative name. Nailed it.
I mean, I knew they had put a tavern in it. Like they did like a little, like a food place there. I just didn't know about the apartments.
Yeah, I know they were talking about making them like luxury apartments and having like an ice cream parlor at the bottom and all kinds of stuff. I didn't know that any of that ever went through because last time I heard about that, they were talking about doing that. But I had never seen any like follow up or anything. But that's on me. Apparently, I need to Google things more.
Also, these apartments look scary. Like they didn't really do much to the interiors. Like they look like it looks like a haunted house, but with nice furniture. Like it's not not great. Yeah, very expensive.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's great that they didn't, like, tear it down, but...
Yeah,
Sorry, I got distracted from our urban legends by the update to this building.
I feel like, the vast sprawl of time moving forward is also, in its way, an own creepy urban legend of when you go to visit your hometown, nothing will look the same as it once did.
Because it really isn't the same as it once was. Like, it's its own thing now, The version of you that lived there no longer lives there, and the version of the town shouldn't be the same either. If it is, it's a bad thing.
Yeah. There's some things that should be kept the same. Like, in Loveland, the kayak place should always be down by the river there. Old Loveland should always have the old storefronts because that's cool to keep that history alive, but... everything else in the town changes constantly.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Loveland. I mean, like, I'm sure the kids now, or within a generation or two, they're going to look up, the architecture there, and they're going to make up a story about the fire department, and they're going to be like, there's a ghost where the Graders is now because somebody
Graders
when
is
the
definitely
fire
haunted.
department burned down, somebody was there and they died, and
now
they're a ghost.
Did the fire department burn down?
Yeah,
I thought it was
the old one. Like, remember down in Old Loveland where those apartments are now and all the mini mall things?
Uh-huh.
Back in the early 2000s, that used to be an old fire department, and it burned down.
Really? Because I knew, the one that I knew about was, I think when we were in high school, the theater next to the fire department burned down. And they had to call in fire departments from all these different cities because it was right next door. And so, they were also trying to make sure their building didn't catch fire.
Well, maybe it was both of them. I don't know.
Maybe it was
I know
both.
that the fire department isn't in Old Loveland anymore.
Really? I haven't been back by there. I know the theater's still there.
Because I remember when I was a kid, that's where I got a big old cut on my cousin had to get a tetanus shot because we were running around near the debris and she stepped on a nail. Because one building burned all the way down.
Yeah. I'm looking on the maps to see what's there now. I'm curious what's changed. That's the thing is I don't even have to go back there to go and look. There's the stage company. So stage company is still where it was. There's a FedEx truck on Google Maps. I don't know when this picture's from. Oh, this picture's from July 2025, and I still see the fire company there.
I don't know. I knew a building burned down, though. That's all I know.
Oh, there was another one back behind the works that burned down, and I remember everyone was like, "Oh yeah, it got found out that the homeowner set it on fire for insurance." I do remember that one.
Was that the one from 2017, though?
It was probably earlier than that because I remember that happening when I still lived there. And this is exactly how urban legends start: is people kind of like don't quite remember. And then it keeps going and going and going. But that one would have been right by the fire department. It would have been by the railroad tracks there too. Because I do remember driving past that one and seeing like this just husk of a old house on a hill.
It's giving me all of the stuff from 2017. I'm trying to think of the one that was from like the early 2000s, and I can't find it.
Yeah. Let me let's see what we can Google here. Let's see what we can find out.
Yeah. I mean, okay, well, it does say the theater thing did burn.
Okay, I do remember the theater. Yeah, it was they had gotten new stage lights, or no, they got new curtains and the stage lights caught them on fire.
This was in 2007 though. I feel like it was earlier. I don't know. I'm old. What do I know? Point is that they built these apartments there, and they built the nice graders, and they tore down all these other buildings.
Yes.
And so inevitably there's going to be some weird ghost story about that.
We can make one up right now.
It's true. Yes. The ghost of a poor man is living inside of the graders, and he's angry because he can't have the black raspberry chocolate ice cream.
Yes. And so now he haunts the graders and he burns. He's a ghost arsonist.
That's exactly what he does.
Yeah. He wanted ice cream.
He's not very good at it, though, so he just shocks you when you plug in your phone into the wall and stuff.
Yeah. And he's trying to use that to spark the house. So. Yeah. This is exactly how urban legends are started. We, talk about this stuff and it goes from there.
And then in reality, some electrician goes in there one day and they're like, "Hey man, you need to change your outlet." That's the reason why the spark happens. That's the reason why.
Yeah, I can't find anything about that house fire, but I do remember seeing a house burn down that we used to drive past. I don't know. Loveland's weird. It's creepy.
It is creepy.
And not just because of the frog, and not just because of the castle. There's just a weird energy there.
There's a lot of old stuff there.
Yeah.
And there was the railroad, obviously, and not only the railroad, but there's the bike trail, and it's an area where a lot of people have come and gone over the years.
I'm trying to find too, because I would see all kinds of things in the skies as well. I know that there are supposed to be some Civil War ghosts that haunt Ward's Corner Road. I don't know if I can find that again.
I mean, there's a bunch of Civil War areas.
Oh, I just found a news article. I don't know if this is really a news article, a blog post that someone wrote that a ghost followed my family home after visiting Loveland Castle. That's interesting because I have stayed the night at Loveland Castle and I never saw anything ghostly there in the slightest. Like, it did not feel super haunted or anything. The Loveland Castle, for people who aren't familiar, Harry Andrews fought in World War One. I think hold on. Let me make sure that's right. Because the stuff the person has here may or may not be correct. Yeah, okay, yeah, Harry Andrews. He built the Loveland Castle from river rock, and he basically built it prepared for siege warfare. Not that he was like trying to use it, he just thought it was cool to build a castle. And he later donated it to what he calls the Knights of the Golden Trail, but it's basically owned by the Boy Scouts. So it's this weird, creepy castle. You go down a dark and winding hill to get to it, and it is near the high school. And this person is saying, it looks like it cuts off. They want you to make an account to read the full story, to hear about how a ghost followed them home, I guess.
I see. The ghost followed them home, huh?
Supposedly. I just found another one.
I've never really thought the Loveland Castle was particularly haunted.
No.
But you know what? If a ghost followed them home, good for them. Or bad for them. I don't know. It depends on
what they want.
Ghost.
Okay, this one is it was supposed to be talking about ghosts, but I don't see anything about them. I guess it was them trying to do a ghost hunt at the Loveland Castle, but there's no real data on it. There's so many things that people like want. I think people want it to be haunted, and it's not. At least from the, experiences I've had there. But
yeah, I think if you're looking for hauntings in Loveland, you're better off going into the woods.
Yes. Oh, yeah. The woods are creepy.
Or the trails. I feel like because there's so much space within the woods, and a lot of people have died in those areas, that if you were going to have a ghost, it's probably going to be there.
Yeah, you would think so. Because that's also where like a lot of like raids and stuff would happen, during the Civil War and stuff like that. It would be in the woods. Partially because like a lot of the stuff that's there wasn't built up yet, obviously.
Yeah, because there's still a bunch of untapped wild areas in Loveland. Like,
it's very green. There's a lot of trees and stuff everywhere.
Yeah, so if you're looking for ghosts, I'd say avoid the buildings. Go outside.
Yes. That's
touch grass, they say.
Touch grass. Cryptid hunting is about touching grass. That was the How to Survive Cryptid Encounters talk that I did at the Frogman Festival. Most of it was, I hope you're prepared for camping and hiking, because that's a lot of cryptid hunting is camping and hiking.
Yeah, it's a lot of being outside.
Yeah. Were that there was a, air conditioning cryptid or something like that, but that doesn't exist, so.
And conditioning cryptid. Yeah. I mean, heck yeah. Sorry.
How dare you?
So sorry.
It's okay.
It was my automatic response to the air conditioning cryptid.
You're too excited about it. You want the air conditioning cryptid. It's really funny.
The concept of it was really funny. Sorry.
Oh gosh. Yeah, I feel like Loveland should have a lot more urban legends. Like, I feel like it being such a creepy place. Oh, the what I forgot to bring up, we do have a bridge that eats cars, and that sounds like it's a cryptid. No, it's just people constantly. It's what we call a can opener bridge, where it will just lop off the top of cars because people misjudge how tall the bridge is. Let me see if I can find it, because there's actually a page that I follow that's dedicated to what cars hit this bridge in Loveland. Because of course there's a page for that. Let's see if I can find it. Of course it's not going to pop up right now. Loveland Bridge. Navigating the Loveland Bridge, that's the group. And it is, it's a bridge, it's 8 feet tall. And people constantly hit this thing. Let's see when the last one was. The last one was the 30th of October. It was raining, and somebody in what looks like a van. Oh, it looks like it was 2 in one day. There was a bus and then a van. Both hit the bridge because they misjudged how tall their cars were.
Wait, which bridge is this?
It is the one that's down by the river, right by the kayaking place. So you know how there's 2 ways you can go around there. You can go through Old Loveland, or you can go around that bridge there. And yeah, people constantly hit it. It's an old train track bridge. And so people, whenever they see a car stuck that's hit the bridge, they go to this page and they post it, which is very funny. Yeah, here's one from back in September where a U-Haul got stuck. And here's a Home Depot truck that got stuck. But yeah, people consider it basically, you know, sacrificing to this bridge. Which I think most towns have some bridge like this that they're like, yep, another one hit it.
Yeah, well, we also have that low one, too, that's over by the Walgreens, that they built it too low to where when it floods,
yeah.
people can go over it really easily.
Yes, I do know which one you're talking about, because I do remember somebody died there when we got too much rain.
Yes, their car went into the water, and they tragically passed.
Yeah.
But it's been a risk the whole time. Even when they were constructing it, they were like, maybe not a good idea with our flood levels.
Yeah. I'm trying to see if I can find an article about it.
Another urban legend.
2001.
Terrible architecture of our of the town.
The most urban of legends, bad urban planning.
Yeah, I've noticed a lot of it involves either corporate greed or bad planning.
Yeah, I did actually find, unfortunately, an article about this. We had gotten a lot of rain on Wednesday night, and it was just hours after authorities recovered the body of a teenage girl who was swept away by raging floodwaters from an even worse storm the day before. So it looks like there was 3 deaths. 3 deaths were blamed on the storm, which the National Weather Service said dumped a half foot of rain in the Cincinnati area. This article is from July 19th, 2001 on Deseret News. I've never heard of this news site before. I'm trying to see if there's any more details. Steve Bookberger, an associate professor and water resource engineer at the University of Cincinnati, said the rain gauge at his home in Montgomery recorded more than 6 inches Tuesday night, and he's quoted as saying, "I've never seen anything like it in the 12 years I've lived here." Yeah, so it was a lot of flash flooding, and the 16-year-old who was unfortunately swept to her death was Monica Kuchmar. So, yeah, that is a very, very dangerous area when we get flash flooding.
Yeah, and I remember, because that was like, when we were growing up, I remember that's when they put in the bridge. The bridge wasn't there forever,
it wasn't always there.
And my dad was terrified. He was like, that's really low to the creek. It makes me really think about what could happen. And then when it did happen and she tragically died, he wouldn't ride over it for a long time.
Fair.
Because the water gets so high that all it takes is it to flood and then you're gone, That's just not great.
Yeah. Yeah, that area is really, really scary there. And what's wild about it is, like, most people when they're driving through there when it's a sunny day and it hasn't rained in a while, you don't think it's going to get that high because it's just a tiny creek in that spot. And then it rains and it basically becomes like a river. So that area gets really dangerous really, really fast. So that one, I don't even know if that's necessarily an urban legend. This is something that actually happened and was really messed up, and is bad urban planning. And I'm actually really surprised they haven't rebuilt that bridge, honestly.
I thought I think they mentioned something about like building up the
sides of it or something.
Because didn't they build like a higher retaining wall or something?
That would be smart to do. I don't know if they did or not because I haven't been back in a little while.
I'm not really sure. Obviously, I don't live in Loveland either.
And neither of us are urban planners, but you know.
Exactly. I don't do any architecture.
If your urban planning is bad enough that it has murdered, or I guess it's not murder, but if it's killed at least one person, that's pretty bad. Your urban planning should not have a body count. I'm trying to think if there's any other legends. Oh, do you remember the old schoolhouse downtown? It's not quite an old Loveland, like historic Loveland, but it's out towards, what's that street there? Like the main street that has the library and the elementary school on it?
The schoolhouse there?
Yeah.
There's a
It's not used
there?
as a schoolhouse anymore. Loveland Art Studios is what I always saw it as, but it was an old schoolhouse that they had turned into art studios.
No. What's up with that place?
I remember people always telling me that one was haunted. I never saw ghosts there. Yeah, Loveland Artist Studios on Main, which apparently still exists. I wasn't sure if it still existed or not. But yeah, I was always told that it was an old haunted schoolhouse. Loveland weirdly has a lot of groups dedicated to their history. And somehow I've ended up in some of these groups, which is just funny because I don't know how I ended up in these groups. I'm trying to see.
Obviously, you appeal to the group.
Apparently. I'm trying to see, because I remember somebody posting a while back about this. And they were actually able to pull up some old yearbooks from the old schoolhouse. I mean, obviously they weren't yearbooks like we have them now, because back when it was a school was still black and white photography only. I'm trying to see if I can find this. Groups. Oh, it's in the, you know if you're from Loveland if. I do remember it being in there. Which I was like, of course that's going to be the name of this group. Yeah, I think I joined this looking for information on something, on stuff like this. I'd be lurking in groups, you know, looking for ghost stories. It looks like we have a caller on the line, though, so I'm going to go ahead and grab that call while I look this up. Hello, you're on with Strange Talk.
Hi there.
Hi.
This is Noelle. I'm calling in. Usually I say sup creeps.
Yeah. Do you have some creepy confidential, some creepy hometown lore for us?
Oh, absolutely. So I might have talked to Alyx about this. So in Appleton, Wisconsin, that's where I'm from. I'm the weirdo Wisconsinite after all.
Yes.
In Wisconsin, there is a huge cemetery that goes along the Fox River. It's actually a beautiful cemetery. And there's a kind of an urban legend that exists with one of the residents that is buried there. Her actual real name is Kate Blood, which maybe was what set her up for this urban legend.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, the claims are always, in the full moon light, her gravestone will ooze a substance that appears to be blood. That's a big one. Or that an apparition of her is seen near the gravestone. So those are kind of the things that exist with her in particular. Now, what's odd is that she's been called, she was an axe murderer or she was a witch. But there's not any like facts to back up what they're calling her.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of strange to me. I was born and raised there in Appleton. It's kind of strange to me that, you know, like how did she get this kind of bad rap sort of thing? And the particular location, the basic cemetery is very dense stones, like usual, old stones, very, very old. Mm-hmm. And then her little area, she's not by herself, and it's this one tall stone all by itself in this little kind of cutout of the woods. It's very strange that it's all by itself. And even if you just walk around it in the evening, you're just kind of checking it out, it does have a very eerie feel to it.
Uh-huh.
I've investigated the stone, you know, like tried to figure out maybe it has something on it that would make it appear to ooze if it was wet, kind of like a copper statue might.
Yeah.
But alas, nothing. You know, there's no metal on it. It's just that classic appearance. So I've always tried to figure out, you know, how did she get called this? But she was an influential kind of settler of that area. Her family was. She's kind of known as the daughter of Appleton. And it seems like there's no rhyme or reason when the apparition appears.
Yeah.
And I've never been able to catch it myself.
That is
in all my years of being there. Yeah. So it's one of those strange urban legends, you know, that pops up and you don't know how did she get the name? Why is she still haunting there if she had such a nice life? And where did the axe murderer come from?
Yeah.
Like, why? Yeah, like, did they just throw that in there to try and, you know, up the vibe? It's very strange.
All urban legends need like a little axe murderer added to it to make it extra creepy, you know?
Right. Just to kind of add to it. And I'm not sure if you're familiar with Chad Lewis. He's an author and a paranormal researcher. He's also from Wisconsin as well. Mm-hmm. And he could also not pinpoint where the tales started. But it's very strange. Usually you can always find, you know, the first story appears somewhere, either in like an old newspaper or something. But the ghosts and the blood oozing it's different. It stands out. And it's very strange.
Yeah, the oozing blood is like, that's a really classic urban legend, like nice, creepy touch. And I'm glad, you were immediately like, okay, is there metal or something? Because I feel like a lot of times, like oozing blood like that, it does end up being from metal. But that's super creepy.
Yeah. Or perhaps I've been a paranormal investigator for almost 20 years myself. So it's like the art of debunking, I think, is strong within me. The force is strong. Yeah. And it was like, could it be dirt? Could it be what the stone is made out of? And it's very odd. I say her story is that she murdered her husband and children with an axe. Mm-hmm. That's how she got the axe murder, before committing suicide. And then, you know, though if you look at the stone, her husband outlived her. Like the actual, he is buried there. He outlived her. So it really, I never understood that urban legend, but it is still there and it is very strong. Anybody in Appleton that's looking for something, every internet search, Kate Blood popped up, or Bloody Kate, I think is what she also is known as.
Bloody Kate. I'm looking her up right now. I don't know. I was looking that up expecting to get a picture, and then I'm like, wait, no, they would not have a... Yeah, wow.
Yeah. So it's like I said, she doesn't have some crazy, fantastical story. The cemetery does have a kind of an expansive, weird, creepy vibe to it because it's old stones instead of new stones. Mm-hmm. But it's kept up. So people are always out there. So you don't have to, you know, like, was it vagrants that people saw? Was it someone trying to, like, there's always somebody on the ground.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's really interesting that they're like, she murdered her husband, and then you can see that he actually outlived her. Yeah, he absolutely, he outlived her. And it was, I've been trying over the years,
still can't figure out where it comes from. And I've been out there trying to catch the apparition and trying to see, like maybe I can get a glimpse of this apparition, because it might not. Maybe it looks like something else. But I always like the paranormal haunting ones that I've, wherever I live or wherever I'm from.
Yeah.
That one is always just one that's been around forever.
Yeah, that's a really good, like, classic urban legend. Especially, being set in a cemetery. That always adds to it, where you're like, yeah, that's a good urban legend.
Right? Yeah, axe murderer, that's it. Totally.
Yeah. She had an axe. We definitely weren't just, like, reading about Lizzie Borden when we came up with this.
That's what I have for you guys this evening. I just wanted to call in and give that cool little urban legend for you.
Yeah, that's a good one. Thank you for sharing that with us.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome. Hope you guys get some cool callers. Have a creepy evening.
Yeah, have a creepy evening. Thanks for calling in.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Awesome. Yeah, that was a good one.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
It's nice to hear about non-Loveland ones, too.
Right, yeah. Oh, no. My music has randomly stopped. Oh, there it goes. Oh, it was just enough time to freak me out. Oh, my gosh. It was just enough time to be like, the board, it's haunted. That's funny. Awesome. Yeah, well, I feel like that is such a good classic kind of urban legend, set in a cemetery, an axe is added to it. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what it is with people's fascination with axes. What is an axe?
I feel like an axe is just like such a classic murder weapon. You got the Shining, you got the Pope-like monster with the axe. Like,
yeah, and I mean, like,
you could go with the sword, but that's like a little too dated.
Yeah, I mean, there's also like the real killers that have used axes. So I'm not saying that the axe isn't a murder weapon, obviously, but like, it's just like, you have these urban legends, and immediately you're like, and there was an axe involved.
There's always an axe involved. Maybe that's how you start new urban legends, is you just carry around an axe.
I think I might have more problems than an urban legend if I do that.
But like a fake axe, like a rubber axe, just to like start some urban legends, like for funsies. Like, you remember all the creepy clown sightings? It's like that, but just with a rubber axe.
Okay, but listen, the minute I get arrested, I am calling you, and I'm going to say, "Hey, Alex, remember that time where we?"
But if it's okay, but if it's rubber, what are they gonna do? Arrest you for walking around in a Halloween costume?
Yes, yes, they will.
I'm trying to think. I know that Lexington has some, like, Jim Varney's grave is on Atlas Obscura. But I don't know the legend around it. I don't know as much legends about Lexington as I should. Apparently, fans of his will leave cans of Mellow Yellow there for him, which is interesting.
Cans of Mellow Yellow? What'd you just say?
Yeah, cans of Mellow Yellow, like the soda.
Cans of... Okay. I thought it was like, we were talking about urban legends, and then I heard Camp Mellow Yellow, and I was like, is this like one of those like camps? Are we talking like a Freddy versus Jason situation?
Oh my gosh. Camp just reminded me, did you go on our high school or middle school? One of the two would always send us, I think our last year middle school it was, to Camp Kern.
I did not go to that. No.
So I went, but I went on like a different week because they like split like our whole grade in half, and one went one week and one went the next week. So I went with the wrong week because I got sick. But I remember that one of the things that they let us do there, for some reason, this was an option. We had like a free time and everyone picked an activity to do. And me and two whole other people decided we wanted to go to the cemetery in Camp Kern to do reliefs of the tombstones. So we would take paper and do crayon to do reliefs of the tombstones. Why did they let us do that? That's a weird thing to be like, hey kids, let's do this.
But it also sounds like something you would do.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it was me and two whole other people because everyone went, that's weird. Why do you want to do that? And I was like, I didn't know there was a cemetery here. That's so cool. That's really, really funny that I completely forgot about that until now. Yeah, I had a disposable camera with me at camp there, and I took the creepiest photos possible because it was a disposable camera, and all camps inherently just look creepy. Oh, goodness. Closing out all these tabs. Oh.
I unfortunately never got to experience that camp.
Well, maybe we'll go sometime and do some, relief etchings. I don't remember what the word for that is, but yeah. Maybe we'll go do some reliefs in the cemetery there that apparently is on site at camp.
Aw.
I did find, by the way, while Noelle was telling her story, which, by the way, check out Creepy Confidential. The art studio was built in 1888. It was remodeled in 1925 to its current layout when it became Arts Studios. And it's cool that it's still open because it is ancient. And yeah, you can see old pictures of it. It was the West Loveland School building back when it was a schoolhouse. But yeah, I always heard stories that it was haunted by one of the school teachers who would just stand in one of the windows. I never saw that. Again, most of the things that I know about were, people would just tell me these stories and I'd just be like, okay. Like Kings Island's supposed to be haunted too. I've never seen anything there.
I mean, I could believe enough people have tragically died on Kings Island in really weird ways that I can believe that.
Maybe we should do an episode on that because there are supposed to be a lot of ghosts there.
Yeah, like the Kings Island specific ghosts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I would love to get into that, but we don't have that much time left, and that would take up some time because there's a lot of ghosts that are there. I've never seen any of them, but there's a lot of stories about deaths at Kings Island and that area in general. But yeah,
there really is.
Oh, sorry, what were you saying?
No, I was just agreeing.
Oh, yeah. Are there any other urban legends you can think of before we have to sign off for the night? We got like a couple minutes left.
Not for Loveland, no. I think we're all good. At least, it's on my end.
Yeah, I'm sure like as soon as we get off this, I'll be like, oh yeah, I was told this one story one time because it's just a creepy place. And that's not even counting the frog.
Yeah, we very carefully avoided mentioning the frogman.
I feel like we've talked about the frogman a little bit. I could do 10 more episodes on the frog, but like I've never seen him. I would really love to see him. I've never seen the frog. All I've come up with looking for the frog is coyotes. So,
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen the frog either. I've seen apparitions in Loveland. I have not seen a frog apparition.
Yeah, we've seen plenty of ghosts together, which maybe, we need to do an episode 1 on the ghosts and deaths at Kings Island, and I feel like we could just do a full episode that's just, here's every ghost that Vayne and I have seen together. Gosh. Well, I guess on that note, we can go ahead and sign off for the night. So, thanks for tuning in, and good luck. No, hold on, that's not the ending. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, I was like, wait, I said that backwards. It's good night and good luck. You know what? I'm leaving that in there. It's fine.
Trivial information is accumulating every second, preserved in all its triteness, never fading, always accessible.
What he's supposed to do is not to control content, but to create content.